India's Q4 GDP data to be out tomorrow. Here is what various estimates say. Q4 GDP growth data. India's Q4 FY25 GDP data is scheduled to be released on Friday at 4 p.m. According to estimates, the country's economic growth is expected to have increased during the quarter amid better agriculture growth, and may remain in the range of 6.4% to 7% in its latest estimates. SBI pegged India's Q4 FY25 GDP growth in the range of 6.4-6.5%. ICRA expects it to grow 6.9%, CareEdge sees it at 6.8%, and both ICICI Bank and Union Bank of India peg the March 2025 quarter growth at 7%. The Reserve Bank of India (RBI) projects the country's economy to grow at 6.6% in Q4 FY25. In the previous quarter ended December 2024 Q3 FY25, India's GDP growth had stood at 6.2%. India's growth momentum picked up in H2, the second half of the financial year compared with the first half. One key reason for this is the increase in rural demand, supported by strong agricultural production. Construction activity has also remained steady, ICICI Bank said in its report. Urban demand has been weak so far, though it is expected to improve gradually, especially with the potential implementation of the new pay commission, it added. ICICI Bank expects gross value added GVA growth for Q4 FY25 at 6.4%. The difference between GVA and GDP is due to higher net taxes. Economists at Citi wrote resilient agricultural activity continues to bode well for rural consumption, adding that they remain bearish on urban consumption in the first half of the current fiscal year, with the recovery driven by policy stimulus. The RBI is expected to cut interest rates for a third consecutive meeting on June 6. However, economists cautioned that erratic U.S. trade policy since the start of the year presents a shaky backdrop for future growth prospects. ICRA chief economist Uddi Nayyar said both private consumption and trends for investment activity were uneven in Q4 FY 2025, with the latter partly owing to tariff-related uncertainty. A separate Reuters poll taken last month found U.S. tariffs had negatively hit business sentiment, which bodes poorly for a long-expected pickup in corporate spending. Full-year GDP growth estimates for the full financial year 202,425, most estimates peg the country's GDP growth at 6.3%. This is slightly lower than the government's current estimate of 6.5% in the second advance estimates SAE. In FY25, the Indian economy in June, September, and December quarters grew at 6.5%, 5.6% and 6.2%, respectively. In the year-ago quarter March 2024 or Q4 FY24, the GDP growth had stood at 7.8%. India surpasses Japan to become fourth largest economy. Meanwhile, India has surpassed Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy according to IMF data. As announced by NITI Aayog CEO BVR Subramaniam. Following the 10th Governing Council meeting of NITI Aayog, Mr. Subramaniam informed reporters that the current geopolitical and economic climate is favorable for India. As of now, we are the fourth largest economy and a 4 trillion economy, he stated. Swipe left for next video. According to the IMF, India's GDP is currently 4.187 trillion, overtaking Japan's 4.186 trillion. Citing IMF data, Subramaniam said India today is larger than Japan. Latest blogs.